Those who refuse the gift of eternal life are condemned to wander in the darkness of eternal night. Coming this fall from SJS Direct. In most modern contemporary vampire stories, we're often presented with a vampire protagonist we're supposed to be sympathetic to. And usually, most writers present this vampire protagonist as someone who is a tragic figure, someone who has been bitten by another vampire, and someone tormented by their lust for blood and their need to go out here and possibly take other lives in order to get that blood to keep them alive. Now, I wanted to take a different take on the vampire for my novel, Eternal Night, and my take on the vampire was not to present you with a sympathetic figure, but I wanted to present you with a character who was more of a sociopathic figure. And the reason why I wanted to present you with a sociopathic figure was to show you the predatory nature of the vampire and the psychological tactics that the vampire would use in order to take advantage of not only human beings, but other members of an undead community. Now, in Eternal Night, I am introducing a new character named Malice, and this character Malice is a vampire lord who controls the New York province. And this character, as he goes out and hunts people, he goes into the goth scene looking for people who he can use. And with that part of the character, I wanted to explore the psychological aspects of the vampire because I studied what people call energy vampires and emotional vampires. And these types of individuals, what these predators do is they enter people's lives, they look for people who they can use as tools, and then what they do is they suck the emotional energy out of these people as they mentally manipulate them. So what I wanted to do with the Malice character is show as he enters the life of Lilith Graves and turns her into an undead, he also wages psychological warfare on the mind of Lilith Graves. So what he wants to do is he wants to be not only a physical vampire, but he also wants to bring her into his whole vampire culture, and he wants to use that vampire culture to manipulate her into believing that his system of values and ideas are the true culture of a vampire, and what he wants to do is bring her into his world and emotionally drain this woman, having her do his dirty work. And then what he also wants to do is be an energy vampire and suck the life out of her. So this is other aspects of the vampire that I really don't see explored in other types of vampire stories, because oftentimes the writers are so busy trying to present the vampire as this sympathetic figure, and because they're trying to present us with this sympathetic figure, we don't really see the other more dangerous predatory aspects as related to the vampire. Because when I studied the vampire, and I've studied it with numerous books like your Dracula and other things like Hammer Horror and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and even Twilight, I didn't really see much focus on the psychological aspects of this vampire and the focusing on making them more of a predator, and also focusing on the psychological, on how these creatures enter people's lives and how they look to go out here and not only look to get blood out of people, but also look to use people as tools to go out here and do their work. So there's more to a vampire than just drinking blood. When I was doing my research for Eternal Night, I wanted to show how these vampires are out here. They manipulate people's emotions, and that's where a lot of people in psychology get the point talking about the emotional vampire and why this person is toxic. And that's one of the things I wanted to show in Eternal Night, was how the emotional vampire is toxic, because this is a person who, once they get into your life, what they do is they cause chaos and drama. And as they're causing chaos and drama in your life, you get sucked into their world. And you get so sucked into their world that you, if you're really not really looking out for yourself, you wind up getting so caught up in their world that you don't even focus on you anymore. You don't even know who you are anymore. And this person, they practically drive you to a point where you no longer exist and everything is all about them. That's what an emotional vampire does. Again, they suck you into their world and create all of this chaos, and then you practically lose your identity. Then there are the energy vampires. These are toxic people as well. And your energy vampire, what this person does is they wind up taking up so much of your time with their craziness and their drama that, again, you wind up getting sucked into their world and you practically lose who you are. And I wanted to put those type of aspects on the Malice character to show you how these types of people are predators and how these people go out here looking to hunt people to be a part of another person's life so they can find people to have these codependent relationships with. Because what these people want to do is they want to find people to have power over and then use that power to control these people and then have them doing all of the dirty work. And as they're doing this dirty work, they're practically losing themselves and losing their identity. So with Eternal Night, I really didn't just want to do a story about a blood-sucking vampire. No, I wanted to explore more psychological aspects to the vampire as Lilith enters this dark world of vampires. And I wanted to show how this culture of the vampire really is a lot deeper than some guy sucking blood or looking for blood to sustain himself. Because the vampire not only needs blood to sustain himself, he also, or she, needs pawns to be able to manipulate, to be able to get not only the blood that they need, but they also need people who will be able to cover up all of their dirty doings. And what they look to do as emotional vampires is get information on people, get leverage over people, and look for ways to get an upper hand on people, and then use that to try to control people. And I wanted to explore those psychological aspects so people could get a real understanding of what makes a vampire really dangerous, what makes a vampire a predator, because as I see it, too many stories romanticize the vampire, but they really don't show us why these creatures are real predators. And the core reason why a lot of these creatures are predators is because they are directly connected to demons. And because they're directly connected to demons, this is why they live to destroy life. Now, I plan on exploring that in another video as related to the spiritual aspects of the vampire, but I wanted to get people to understand the psychological aspects of the vampire because it's a major theme in Eternal Night, and it's a theme that I've put in the story because I wanted people to understand about the predatory aspects of the energy vampire and the emotional vampire, because there are toxic people out there like this, and these toxic people are all around us, and what they want to do, again, is suck us into their lives, and then once they suck us into their lives, they wind up draining us of all of our mental energy, our emotional energy, and our spiritual energy, and they leave us as codependent husks in their life, people who are slaves to their drama, slaves to their nonsense, and slaves to their whims. And that's not a way to live, that's just existing. And with the Malice character, I wanted to show how these predators go out here and take advantage of people like a Lilith Graves and have them turned into vampires in their brood and use those people in their brood to do their dirty work and practically live sucking all of the life energy out of those people, and then those toxic people go out here and look for others to go out here and suck the energy out of. Now, if you want to pick up your copy of Eternal Night, you can pre-order a Kindle version right now on Amazon.com by clicking the link in the description box, and Eternal Night will be available in paperback on Halloween, and it will be available on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can be able to read Eternal Night for free. And if you want to see me make more great African-American fiction and African-American goth fiction, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.